have some connection.
You think they have ins?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that'd be weird.
You know,
Wow.
I think Impact knows Faker personally.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, I think they have they were formerly co-workers. I don't know.
Ah,
Yeah.
that must have been a long time ago. That sounds like something that it would happen in 2013.
So, going to the draft, I think a big thing to mention is the fact that Aurora is gone. So, a lot of the top lane picks that normally get hammered down by here will kind of be freed up.
Yeah.
So, I think big talking point is Rumble was obviously banned previously. Rumble kind of gets manhandled by Aurora. I feel like the Rumble priority will be really high, might get banned again.
Yep.
But then there's also the conversation of Gwen and Bessa, so we'll see how that plays out. Right now, it looks like T1 might be going for the Ape, Azir, Yunara, Pantheon.
Yep.
I'm not going for Yap or Pei, but
AP.
AP?
AP could have happened. That would have been fun.
Yeah, that could have been good. On the other side, Gen.G, very focused, not things we typically see in the first rotation, but denying the bot away from Keria, denying the Jarvan away from Oner.
This makes me feel like they want to pick Rumble into Zyrakan.
Well, this is interesting because they banned the Bessa, and Bessa typically good into Gwen, but
yeah, so maybe it's the Gwen first pick.
But you feel like they'd probably want to go Rumble.
Well, it's also Doran, and his Ambessa has been
they left the
incredible.
Pantheon.
Yeah, okay, so I guess it's Pantheon.
Okay.
What is it, the 4th time that Canyon's been allowed to play it?
I mean, the thing is, what is going to get traded off in return? I presume it might end up being top, so maybe you go like Rumble Rise, perhaps?
This is actually the 5th time that he's played it. So he has lost on it 1 time, though.
Wukong, which was banned last time by Gen.G, is open. So T1 are going to get their hands on Wukong. I presume you're probably going to go top mid and then go jungle on 3. So maybe T1, especially with the Oregon, Rise is Faker's next most played. He did play Galio as well, but I presume they're probably going to lean towards... So maybe
Annie. Annie's available. They could do the Rise group special.
The Annie Wukong.
That could happen.
A possibility. Maybe they want to save the top lane pick, but I think with the Ambessa gone, I think the Rumble Rise just... Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Rumble, if the Gwen's picked, I think that matchup is favored, although we have seen Gwen do better than you typically expect. I still think it's very favored, especially with how strong Rumble is at the moment. But Keen is still happy to take the matchup.
This is an exciting one. It's kind of what we were looking out for as far as this top lane matchup is concerned. A little bit more feisty, you can imagine, in that top lane, as the Galio going to be the answer here for Chovy. Has been historically pretty good at this champion, as we know.
It's a pretty scary matchup, the Pantheon Galio. As much as there is that global pressure from the Rise, the double globals of the Pantheon Galio makes it really hard to have pressure in the side lanes. And it looks like they're not going to go for the Wukong, instead going to go for the Trundle. Obviously, a lot of pillar value into those triple melee champions on the top side of Gen.G.
Yep.
You have the Galio, who's a decent shred option, as obviously he starts off building a bit of MR, so he's always going to have some decent resistances regardless. The Gwen also has a decent amount of resistances from her Shroud. So even if they don't have a true tank, still gets a decent amount of value. But Gen.G's top side still just looks so scary.
Certainly looks frightening. I also think that the setup that they have as well for the bottom side of the map, if Ruler is going to be on a hyper carry, could be pretty scary as well. With the double globals, you can always be there to protect him, in theory. Lucian going to be taken away here. And I imagine Gumayusi pretty happy to play things like the Varus or the Jhin in this instance, so he will be able to get his hands onto at least one of those.
Varus, Jhin, even the Sivir as well, I think is a decent shout.
True.
I think those 3 are kind of the ones in my mind that would be prioritized. Obviously saw the Alistar ban come through.
Feels like a difficult game to play something like a Zeri as well, with the pillars and the equalizers and everything like that, not to mention
also
Prison.
Danger of making your comp very short-ranged.
Yeah.
If you go for the Zeri. I mean, it's definitely playable, it's just it is a concern, especially into things, you know, those 2 mid laners, the 2 solo laners, the Rumble and the Rise, do kind of check you as a Zeri. You know, you dash in and then suddenly they're just in your face.
Yep.
Melting you.
Will the Varus get banned here? That is the question. Or will they take away something like a Rakan, which could be extremely powerful, and that is going to be the decision here. Yep. Not going greedy, because they could have instead waited and then picked Zyrakan for themselves, but the likelihood that that Rakan is going to get locked in, a little bit too frightening. And so now the temptation to play Zeri is going to be there. teams do like playing it into the Sivers. There's a bit of a grin for Ruler. I think like Jinx would be fun.
Also kind of denies the Varus as Sivir often into Varus, so kind of lowers the priority on taking that. Could go, I mean, Jinx is something you could in theory go into the Sivir, but we haven't really seen too much of it. Looks like they do want to commit to some engage, which I think makes sense when you do have the Galio, having something to set up for that. As much as the Pantheon can do that point-and-click stun, I don't think it's quite enough. It does give a great target for the Rumble, though. You drain those resistances when you go in with the Rels, so another target for the Rumble to be able to ult. And now the 80 carry pick for Ruler.
Yeah, continuing to have a bit of a think about it here is Ruler. I imagine he's like, can I play Ezreal? Because I really want to play Ezreal. But I hope it's not the case. Also a little bit worried about this one.
I think Zeri probably makes the most sense. I'm trying to think what else he would play.
Jinx. But it's going to be Zeri instead. And so this is going to be potentially a difficult one for Ruler to play out. As what are we playing, Keria? What have we been cooking up? Zillion. Well, as we know, there's no Killian the Zillion. That's a Silas that he's hovering, so maybe we're not being serious just yet. Let's see what he does decide to lock in. Can be, of course, the Nautilus, which does work out relatively well, but instead, Renata will be locked in.
Okay, so... I mean, this is a thing we talked about, right? The melee topside, the short-range composition, one of the best champions at punishing short-range compositions.
Oh, new expansion coming out. Maybe he's been playing it. Let's get on to the Rift. Get into game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. T1 versus Gen.G. Gen.G needing a win to get us to a third game. And T1 wanting a victory here to clinch that second place. We were talking about steak a lot earlier on in the week. Sorry, vegetarians. But there's certainly a lot in this game as well. Amazing that our Saturday showdown in our final week of the regular season still has a lot to play for. Not necessarily on Gen.G's side, as they have already locked in first place as of months ago. But for T1, this means a whole lot. And I feel like you're exactly right, Ox. I think that this draft for T1 is looking real frightening.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have a lot of range themselves, but they have a composition that loves not having range.
Yeah.
And the fact that their opponents also don't means that melee is going to be pretty scary.
I think there's two sides to it. I think the game is even at the later stages. I think you'll feel really bad because there's a lot of champions that punish low-range comps. But on the other side, I think the Gen.G game plan is, as I said, the mid-jungle. And then you look at... So the mid-jungle game plan, when you have like the double globals, is play to the sides, and you look at who the sides are, and it's Gwen, and it's Zeri.
Yeah.
And if they get fed, it's just game over. So I think there's definitely ample win cons around that for Gen.G, but it just comes down to how it plays out. Because obviously last game we saw Gen.G got ahead, and then weren't able to close out. I do think if they get ahead, if they get the lead that Ruler had last time on this Zeri, I don't think it's going to be as difficult.
Yeah, that's going to be a different story.
Yeah, but we'll see what they're able to do.
Rel hasn't been so good here in the Legend group, as we can see. A couple of those losses also being Duro.
I feel like in terms of engaged supports, she's kind of fallen down a good amount in terms of the tiers. She's had a couple of nerfs, but just if you think about the engaged supports that are really prioritized, there's like Nico, Alistair. I'd probably say Rakan is next.
Yep.
And
Vega.
As much as Rel does have a lot of power, I think she's just not really been hitting the same.
Not quite. Certainly not in the results. And that is the kind of analysis that I am into. Because that means that it resulted in that thing.
Yes.
And that just must be the best. As the results of Chovy's early game have been going down to about 200 health, but hasn't really been suffering too much as far as farm is concerned.
I just feel like this is just what we... this is just the standard Galio experience.
Yep.
Just pain, pain, pain. Oh, I got to recall? Okay.
I guess we're fine.
We're fine. I got to buy magic resist? We're chilling.
Less fine here on this bottom side of the map for Gen.G.
Yeah, not a fun lane matchup. And that's the thing. I feel like it's 3 pretty favorable lane matchups for T1.
Yeah.
You know, mid lane, I mean, eventually it gets to the point where Chovy can just one-shot waves and ignore the damage from Faker. But at the start, Faker's going to have that pressure. The Rumble, obviously pretty favored. And then here, the ranged into melee support in a good spot. And now looking for a potential dive. They are healthy.
They're healthy, but so is this wave. As Extendo Beam does come on through, let's see what Duro can do to keep Ruler alive. As he does Ghost, but that is not going to help him at all. Down will go Keria, though. And so that is something back, a 1-for-1. But with the Zeri missing out on all of this farm, it is still a huge trade up here for T1 as Canyon looking to charge things up, but not going to quite get on in there as Keen looking a little worse for wear, not wanting to push their luck.
Yeah, not sure what Canyon was going for with that one.
It was just a ramp up, you know. It's kind of like what Rambi the Rhino does in Donkey Kong, where he scratches the ground with his paw.
Yeah, I was thinking,
a paw or is it a hoop? It's not a hoop, it's just a foot. Okay, Ruler is up here towards the top side. We're going for a little bit of a lane swap. What are the feet of a Rhino called?
I think it's just hooves as well, right?
They're not hooves, though.
Are they not?
I don't think so. As Ruler may just kill Doran here as he flashes and picks it up. I still don't know anything about Rhino's feet, but I do know the Ruler is going to be very happy with the kill.
Yeah, that seemed a very free kill,
yeah.
To be honest. And I feel like Doran just had the information and definitely could have disengaged that situation. So I was going to say, despite the fact that a kill got traded back in the bot lane, which you're going to see now, still pretty good for T1. What ended up being unfortunate is Keria actually dies a little too late. So he has the bailout, but Ruler dies too soon. The tower hit is just a little bit too late, so he doesn't get the bailout to come back. But they still deny a lot of farm, and it's actually Duro who gets the kill. So I think T1's still pretty happy with that. And then Doran,
just didn't flash to follow the flash, I guess. Because they could have both flashed, but then I guess Zeri probably still has a dash sooner than the scrap shield is up.
Feeling very generous, I think we'll say.
I guess so. Maybe there was a message. Ruler's like, oh man, that was really brutal. Like you flashing on top of me every single moment in the last game. Can I have one back? Maybe there's some generosity there as Keen. Not going to be treated with very much generosity here towards the bottom side of the map. I say that. Doran is going down so incredibly low as Oner gets in there, tries to put him in the kennel as the ward goes down, and Doran is able to help him burn that one out. So it is going to be double flashes invested here by T1 as Chovy with a Justice Punch that goes the wrong direction, but that is going to be A-okay.
I looked a little spooky for Chovy there. We don't see Guma commit anymore. Was a little bit conscious that maybe someone's hanging around. But Chovy was like 200 HP there after the Justice Punch, so... But a good gank there from Oner, just to give some pressure back to Doran. You were wondering, why did Doran not flash? He was saving it for that exact moment.
Exactly, there you go. That got the value for his Trundle.
Oh.
As Duro is flashing in, Handshake is going to come on down as Canyon says, this is my dragon, please leave it alone. And they will say yes.
Yep. Kind of have to back away in that situation with Oner that low. It's so easy for a Pantheon just to execute you. And you know, with Canyon being level 6, with Duro charging in like that, you know he's turning up. So, unfortunate for T1 that they lose out on the Dragon, but I think happy that they didn't lose out on more with their jungler surviving. Yeah, it gets very scary, because Doran doesn't have his ult, and Keen has his. But a good flash to dodge away from the third charge from Keen there, and then just trying to maintain distance. Oner chomping him down, and eventually flashes to commit the kill. Obviously, Keen having the exhaust, not really able to create space.
Nope. No flash available here for this particular Gwen, as Duro is utilizing that Hex Flash, and they will be able to find Guma here. He does have the bailout, but I just don't know whether that's going to be proccing as Ruler looking for more. It is another kill going over to this Zeri. And, Wolf's got a day off today. We'll have to ask him about verification. I don't think we're certifying it just yet, but we will have word for you when he does let us know exactly when this Zeri is potentially online.
That timing seemed flawless from Ruler and Duro.
Yeah, with the spell shield?
With the spell shield. That was so well played. Because you can see Guma's like, okay, Duro's coming at me. I'll spell shield to stun. It's going to be fine. I have my summoners. But watch. So, slowdown's perfect. The ult catches the spell shield.
That was crazy.
And then
that would have been
connects.
milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean, syncing that up, not an easy thing to do. But pulling off perfectly, and the power of the level 6 from Zeri, obviously very strong. T1's bot lane not expecting to be punished, because, you know, you think you're playing Civ, you think you've got the spell shield ready to safety. But a great punish there from Gen.G's bot lane, and now the Zeri being 2-1-on-1.
That's a huge deal, and I have confirmation from Wolf in the chat. He has said that this is certified.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. Not necessarily picking up a triple kill in a Dragon Skirmish or anything like that, which is what we've certified in the past. But certainly, he is feeling pretty good. Duro once again Hex flashing over. Gonna get the flash out from Keria here as well. I feel like Duro's mad. He had some rough moments where his Pop Blossom was kind of interrupted, especially by Keria. There was a fight around, I believe it was the Otacon pit, where it looked like Duro just solo ulted Keria, but I think it was largely because the heroic charge had stopped him from being able to do anything after pressing his R button, which could have been a big turnaround. As Duro once again going to be charging that one up. Immediate handshake, as of course full information was there for T1.
I think Keria missed the brush with the first ward because he just put down a second ward.
It's always good to have more like a backup ward, I reckon.
I think that first ward might have been just outside when he first went up to place it, and that's why he got caught out before it had to bin his flash.
You're exactly right.
Unfortunate. Oh no.
Well, some needlework going to come on through here as Keria, not going to find the hostile takeover because Keen just walks over it. Now he's looking for Gumayusi, who's not going to have any way out of this one. Duro just pulls him in with the Magnet Storm, and now can we have some Gwen certification as well? Because Keen is kind of massive.
You know, I talked about how this mid-jungle, the Pantheon, and the Galio setting up the side laners. Like if Gwen and Zeri get fed, it's going to be a big problem. I'm going to be real, the Galio, the Pantheon,
not doing much.
Anything. Right? It's just
they're being set up by the cavalry, which is just Duro cantering and hex flashing into every lane.
Duro has decided he knows what the objective is, and he is succeeding massively. And now with Keen and Ruler so far ahead, I am very concerned for T1.
I'm a bit concerned for Chovy here as well, as he is going to have to flash to get himself out of this one, but I still don't know whether he's out of the woods just yet. Is going to Justice Punch, and that is going to keep him alive. That is a big flash now on cooldown here for Gen.G. See whether they are going to be too worried about it. So we're going to check this one out once again. Keen looking very relaxed there in the player cam as he just wanders over. And the hostile takeover is just going to do nothing as a result. There's another flash in live, as we can see in picture-in-picture.
Just runs them down. Knows they don't have the summoners committing to it with Duro. And it just feels like they've been kind of unrelenting at this point.
Yep, Feats of Warfare comes on through there as well, as we do get the little hover over to confirm that Doran does have his flash now on cooldown, as these minions aren't all going to die, but most of them. So they'll be, okay, he's going to take a fair bit of damage here from Keen, who has Riftmaker done. Doran has a small book.
Yeah, I hope it's a good book.
Yeah. No matter how small it is, Keen has made a rift. And you have a story. Okay, a story that has turned into a different story.
Now he has like a little fidget spinner and a slightly more impressive book. So
yeah, it's a scary book now.
Yeah.
It's fiendish.
Yeah, so a little bit more to play around with.
What is a codex, technically? What's the difference between a codex and like anything else? I think I knew the answer to this at some point in my life.
I feel like I feel the exact same. I feel like I once knew that, and then it's been removed in return for like the AP ratios on Zig's Q.
Oh, got a little bit of a stun here onto Oner, who does have to flash away. Hostile takeover is only going to connect onto the Pantheon, but he's kind of okay with it as the heroic charge comes down. Bailout will actually activate, but not too much more. As oh goodness, if it wasn't certified before, it certainly is now. Yeah, Wolf was onto something, as that's a double kill. 4-1 and 2 now for the Zeri, and this isn't a Kai'Sa. This is a little different when it comes to the team fights coming up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for T1. I think Gen.G at this point, you know, even though the gold lead isn't massive, it just feels like they have everything they need right now. They jump onto Oner, hostile takeover comes in, and there's a decent amount of AoE that comes back. You can see Faker doing a decent amount, Goof doing a decent amount, but no one ends up dying, and they just see target, kill target. You know, Ruler's just running people down, and this is an extremely fed Zeri.
2,000 again!
Yeah, it feels more significant this time, though.
I would say so. It did feel pretty significant last time, but the results certainly were not. This is another result of some situations that were happening elsewhere, as the teleport brings Faker in, but he doesn't really want to be here. Still, Keria and Oner are going to turn up, and I don't think Keen is quite as immune as he really wants to be. As the bailout is down onto Oner, and down goes the Gwen. That is going to be Faker getting a kill back. Finally on the board here is his rise. I don't think this is going to quite be enough to get T1 into the driver's seat, especially with this situation that's now happening in the mid lane.
Rula is 2 full levels up on Guma.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you see the number, and you're like, oh, he's 2 levels up because, you know, they were, like, close. To be fair, Guma did just get a good amount of XP because he kind of got catch-up XP, but
yeah.
It is...
It's going to be first turret going over to T1.
Massive lead.
That is going to be a big deal. That will be able to close that gap just a little bit, but it is still 2.5k. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, Gumayusi is going to get magnetized, and Rula going to zap him a few times. Does actually invest the flash, just to make sure that he's not going to get closed in on, as Oner has found him. And if he gets into Rune Prison range, this could be dangerous for Rula, who's trying to kite this one out, but it's not going to work. And it's going to be the Rumble that locks down the shutdown. T1 immediately swing that pendulum back. It's not all the way, but it's moving back in their direction.
Okay, you'll take that, you know. Guma's KDA, we learned from the last game, isn't relevant.
It is not. Nor is the gold, which is still 2.6 thousand gold, by the way. That is not as big as, you know, like the lead isn't that big, right? So they're making up for it elsewhere, kind of.
I feel like T1 are doing a good job of finding ways to punish when some of the members are overextended. You know, we typically talk about the Faker sacrifice and then finding something from it. It feels like they're just kind of doing it with anyone. Anytime Dura's setting up a play, they're like, okay, let's just see what we can clean up from this. And this feels bad at first glance, but then the turnaround comes in.
Oh, and Rula didn't land the slow.
Strong move set, yeah. And here, Faker has flash and thinks I can get him without it. The slow comes in from Oner, even walks away before he knows the Q's going to hit, and gets that 652 gold shutdown. So Faker getting pretty strong as well now.
Yep. Feats of strength do go over, and this is something that Gen.G missed out on last time. We'll see whether there's going to be some more Arakan whoopsies as well.
Yeah.
As I do feel like their last draft was a little bit more finesse-based, right? They didn't necessarily, like, they had a Scion, front to back certainly was possible, but it was a lot more bursty.
I mean, it was definitely, they had to kind of dive in. There was a lot of ifs and buts. This one just kind of feels like
Keen and Canyon go in, Chovy go on guy who has aggro, Rula kill everyone.
You point Zeri and Gwen in the right direction, and you just release.
Yeah.
And that's 90%.
So it's a slingshot.
Pretty much.
Are we gonna? Can we coin that as like the name of this style of composition? The slingshot composition. You wind them up.
Wind them up.
Maybe call it a Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels? I like a Hot Wheels.
Although not all of them are the pullback and then go type little cars, are they? Hot Wheels often just models.
They are pretty great though.
Did you have like one of the Hot Wheels tracks?
Yeah.
Oh man, they were so cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever use it as a track, or was it only ever to launch cars as far as you could launch them?
Launch cars.
Yeah, that was actually the only thing I thought that it was.
Did you ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Oh, yes.
You know, there was that roller coaster you could make where I did the loop and just went, and then if you
fired them off into the sun.
You'd make one of those with the... that's what you'd want to do.
And then you finish making one of those, you're like, oh, I finished the game.
Yeah.
I've beaten it. Oh, this is beautiful. That's fantastic.
That's what you want to do with your Hot Wheels as well. Just
whoop. And then I was actually watching Roller Coaster Tycoon content recently. It still exists, and it's thriving.
That's great.
It's crazy.
What a phenomenal game.
It is. Never expected it to really go that hard.
Is when you'd put on the entrance, you'd put a no entry sign in front of the exit, so they couldn't leave, and then you'd put like cheap drinks, and then you'd make the toilets really expensive. I was an evil child, but it worked, you know. Customer satisfaction down, profits up.
You were less about the roller coaster, more about the tycoon, I think, is how that one worked there, Ox.
Yeah.
Is a true entrepreneur. Okay. Well, let me know. Like, I'm never going to go to your restaurant that you're going to open after being an LCK commentator.
Oh, man.
All right, T1, going to go for something else here, as we do have Soul Point on the table here for Gen.G. It's Infernal Soul as well. That is a big deal. But Canyon taking a lot of damage. That last Q from Faker had a hit. That could have been a big deal, as he has stacked up. At least his Seraphs does have his Rod of Ages now halfway stacked as well.
I feel like this is so much around the main characters right now. For T1, it really is Faker. He's doing so much damage. And for Gen.G, there's no surprises really. The Untile plus the Runans posing so much threat. Doesn't have the IE yet. That will be a massive spike, but still, he is such a problem to deal with. Keen also a very pertinent threat. They are starting up the Dragon. This will be third for Gen.G, so T1 really want to have this on lock. Repull coming in from Chovy. He's going to make his way over there.
Yep. Immediate teleport going to come on through here from both the Rumble and the Galio as Keen possibly going to get flanked here as Faker does come on over, but he has Keria in tow. We do have the heroic entrance coming down. The equalizer does basically nothing, unfortunately. And Chovy's able to tank this one up. T1 using so many resources, and they have to realm warp themselves out. But Duro just catches them in the magnet. Handshake is decent, but it just brings Ruler closer. So the T1 will melt. Another Penta will be denied. This time it's Canyon that does it. But Ruler probably still happy. He's a 9-2 Zeri in this game.
That's just prime scenario for the Zeri. You saw T1 not thinking they can take a straight up 5v5, look to try and shut down the Gwen on the angle. The Galio comes in to save, and then it's just cleanup time for the Zeri. This game was looking bad before. It only got worse.
Well, we know, T1 have made pretty heroic comebacks before, but I do feel like this whole engage just didn't quite work. Chovy manages to get him with the ulti and then lands a massive taunt.
Yeah, and then we get the slow comes in from the Pantheon, and then the engage from the Rel, and then this with the Runans as well.
Yeah, the ulti hits 4 at the same time.
It's just prime scenario for a Zeri at this point. And I feel like Ruler just, it was just like the most chill team fight ever.
He was so locked in, dude. He didn't say Penta once.
Wow.
That is...
It's serious.
He has grown, truly.
But it was just a very chill cleanup, The team was setting him up, and he just knocked him down.
Well, you know that edge that goes really, really far, possibly never-ending. That has now been completed as Oner wanting to steal this one away. He does get stunned up, though, and then just put into the blender. Down goes Gumayusi first. The other con is secured by Ruler somehow, as Keria trying to get himself out, but he just gets crashed into by this Rel. And now skating over the wall, Jet Set Radio Future here for Ruler, and he will be able to just zap down Faker. There's the pentakill for Ruler Zeri, as it doesn't work the first time. Why not just set it up again?
This time he slides in with the IE with so much damage, gets the Arakan as well. Not quite a hexa kill, but might as well be.
Yep.
You can see T1 just desperate to stop this objective. They dash in here, and the Arakan ends up going super low. Canyon actually smited early because he was about to die, but Zeri ends up getting it. Keria tries to TP out, gets interrupted, and then here, Ruler's definitely going to call for it now.
Yep, let's listen to him celebrate. The man that gets denied the most pentas out of any other player on the planet. It will be Doran. Ruler able to lock it down, but Quadrant kill comes in. I want to see the celebration. Ruler, give it to me. Wow! Zero reaction at all. I guess maybe he's playing Zeri, so he's like, maybe it doesn't count. As Keen is going to be able to pick up a kill onto Doran here at the same time. Feels like a bit of a formality at this point in time. Last time they had a bit of a lead. It was nothing compared to this. It's 10,000 gold at 22 minutes. This game is a shellacking, and it is absolutely over.
It just doesn't even look close at this point. I mean, Ruler is so fed right now. 14-2 on this Zeri. You look at his items, and then... I'm not going to say it, actually. I was going to say...
Yeah, don't.
No, just don't. Just stay looking at Ruler's items. Yep. Don't look anywhere else.
Yeah, look to the left of the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, don't
look at the number. The number is large.
Don't look to the other side. It's... Wow. That is a... I can't remember the last time we've seen that much of an item difference.
3 completed item advantage?
Yeah.
Yep, no, that doesn't often happen. As Faker is not going to get killed by Ruler here, who I don't think can skate into 4 people and do it by himself.
I can't see it but for science, maybe he could.
He does. He has a shield buff, so I don't know.
Yeah.
He's also got the upgraded shoes. Chovy going to look for Oner here. Does manage to land the taunt, but Ruler not going to go too aggressive. Keen is, though, as in comes the Galio as well. Lands a nice double knockoff as the bailout is there, but it buys a few seconds maybe. And Gen.G are just going to pile in and destroy. Ruler looking to skate on over and just one taps the rest of Doran's health bar. And Gen.G, I think they're done having fun in this game. They're going to look towards game number 3 to try and close this one out. T1 will be back on the blue side though once again. I'm just glad that we get the full series between these two titans here in the LCK. Remember, stakes still massive for T1. They will have